going on there, YouTube? Another new hot rod build. This video I'm just going to show you this new body I got and tell you all about it. Alright, so what we got here is a 5-window coupe. This is 3D printed. I did get this one printed at Shapeways and it was expensive. This file was sent to me by Mr. Ferguson. He said he builds scale models and designs these for the modeling community. And he liked what I was doing and he wanted to share one with me. It is available on Shapeways and I'll post a link in the comments below. It is about 180 bucks. And I do have a few issues with the quality of the print on this one. If you remember the number 2 there in the background I had printed from Shapeways. That body was designed by Awesome. And he gives the file away for free. You can get it printed wherever you like. And that one came out flawless. This one, it's got a few ridges in it, a few flaws from the printing itself. I've seen the file, I've reviewed the file, I adjusted it a little bit for this, just as far as size, and it's got a few ridges in it, especially on the other side from printing. So hopefully it doesn't affect the look of it once we get some paint on it, but it is kind of disappointing considering what this cost. Through Shapeways, I'm sure I could send it back and have them reprint it, but it took so long to get it. I just wanted to start building because this thing's awesome, and there's just not enough of these bodies going around. And I'm starting to see more and more builds out there, so it's pretty exciting to see everybody trying their hand at it and doing different things and doing it all different ways. Everybody's got their own way, and that's what's cool about the rat rod theme is there's no wrong way, there's no set way. It's all your way, whatever you like, however you want to do it. It's the right way. So it's a pretty neat genre to the hobby that we've kind of created here. So I'm gonna roll with this body, and you see I've got the tires and wheels that I had set up for the 2-door sedan body, and I'm really torn right now if I want to even continue building that yet, or skip to this and make this the number 3. Or do I want to try to build 3 and 4 at the same time? Also, I don't know if I've shown y'all this yet. I know I talked about it somewhere. But I do have T-bucket body now that I got from Richard Coupe, from Benchcraft Customs. This is the body that started the whole thing for me. Me and Richard, he got this in a trade. And we started talking hot rods, and bam, next thing you know, I've built the number 1 back there, and now the number 2, and now the number 3 or 4. I got 3, 4, and 5 here ready to start. I just need a few more axles, and really digging these wheels. These are the RC 4-wheel drive 1.9 Mickey Thompson, kind of retro looking wheels, and they just really look right. Now, I'm going to be doing another video here soon about how I'm going to mount these model tires on the front, because right now they fit the 1.9 wheel, but the wheel's wider, and there's just no way to actually attach it. It just slides off the inside of the wheel. So I think I've got a solution for that, but I'm gonna do a little more testing, a little more fabbing, and see what I can come up with. So I've got this model engine here in this build, in this mock-up, and it just looks right. I love the look of that blower. One day I'll have a real car with a blower on it, just because. So not sure yet. Nothing's final. Nothing's even set in stone. I don't know what chassis or anything I'm going to use for this. I do like the rake. I was talking with Kevin Dent. We were joking around about some pictures of rat rods and stuff one day, and it's hard for me to not go for the low and level look, but this body just screams hot rod. It needs to have a little bit of a rake to it. And I've got a lot of ideas as far as colors, weathering. It is going to have the number on the side. I just don't know what number yet. I kind of want to keep that theme through all my builds. Number them all from 1 to whenever. But yeah, let me pull the body off of here and show you more. Look at the inside. This thing is thick. This is probably 3 to 4 millimeters thick all over. And that's part of the reason it was probably more expensive to print. It's just the sheer thickness of all the walls. Even the pillars and stuff are at least 3 to 4 millimeters thick. So it's very, very solid body. Very, very durable. You can see how thick down here it is. I can get you a look at the side here. Well, just measure it while I'm here. So we're looking at 4mm thick. So that's really quite thick. This is the side that's giving me trouble. I'm not sure if I can get all this to come out in the light. Trying to get it where you can see it on the camera. Move the camera back, zoom in. There, you can kind of see some of the ridges. They're very faint. Then they probably sand right off. There's a few little wrinkles here. Yeah, and some of these lines, they're printing lines. They carry all the way through. For some reason on the driver's side, they're not as pronounced, and they probably won't show up at all. But on this side, you can kind of see them going all the way down. So I'm hoping enough heavy primer will hide that. A little bit of sanding. If I remember from the number 2 cab, you could see a lot of lines. You couldn't feel them, and once you painted over it, it just had a real fine texture to it. And that's why the Shapeways prints, they're real nice, because they just have a real fine texture after you paint them and everything. But I'm afraid this one's going to have a little bit more showing through. So we'll see. Only time will tell. Let's see. I do wish it was chopped a little bit more. It's supposedly equivalent to a 3-inch chop. I think for the rat rod look, more along the lines of a 6-inch chop, but that's just my personal preference. And I'm not going to hack into a 3D body. Cutting this plastic that Shapeways use, this flexible and white stuff, it is a nightmare. It just instantly boils into rocks as you're cutting it with the Dremel. So as little cutting as you can do on this type plastic. My body's from Nightcrawler's 3D. I'm not sure what kind of plastic he uses, but it does cut a lot better. It cuts more along the lines of styrene. You get a few little clumps, but they break off. Whereas this, it melts in your clumps, and they don't break off. It's solid as a rock. So you've got to either try to cut them off, or it's a much heavier nylon involved material. So yeah, chopping the top on this is out of the question. But I do like it's got the same style cowl with the holes as the Awesome cab had. So it looks like they're pretty close to the right size to shove rare earth magnets in. I can make a real metal firewall and rust it accordingly and just magnetize it right to it. They are a little bit higher, so we'll have more room for the rails and the chassis, so I don't have to cut the bottom ones out like I did on the Awesome cab. Yeah, it's got a little bit more detailed lines. You've got the cowl lines here, indentations back here, body line that carries through. We've got the rain gutters, just like on the other cab. It's pretty nice. Like I said, I'm just worried about the lines on this side. Like I said, also I've seen the drawings, the files. I've looked at them. They're not on the file, so it's just a print issue with the Shapeways print, and this may be the first one that they've printed, so it could need a little troubleshooting. But looking at it from this angle, you can't really see just a couple of the ridges, so I think it'll be all right. I'm gonna roll forward with it, and yeah, I think the T-bucket is gonna be on hold since I haven't started it yet. The 2-door sedan and this might come at the same time. Like I said, I've already got the chassis back here for the 2-door. I'm thinking about doing some crazy stuff with that since that chassis is different and unique. I think this one is going to have a very similar chassis to the number 2. It's going to be a forward suicide axle, a big step in the back. But I'm going to have to, where's my thing? It's going to have to be a slightly different dimension. So it's going to have to be not quite as big a step, and it's going to have to be shorter, and the front end probably a little bit shorter as well. So we'll have to make another template for this once we figure out what direction we're going to go. But I had it mocked up. I do like the rake. You always see the 5 windows and the 3-window coupes with a big steep angle in the back. And you got to think about, like, when you're mocking it up here, where your rear axle is going to be. So I've got this right here would barely, the pumpkin on the axle would probably hit the inside of the trunk. So it'll probably have to be up a little higher, which is fine, which puts the valve covers below the top of the cowl and things like that. So general idea, this is what I'm going for, but it will set up just a hair higher. We'll probably keep the rake. No ideas for suspension or anything yet. So anyway, guys, that's it. Just an update on the new product. And like I said, I'll post a link below. And yeah, look forward to seeing everybody else's hot rod builds. Be sure to follow along on Instagram. And you can follow along on Facebook. Speaking of Instagram. And yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. And see y'all in the next video.